Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. I hope everyone is doing well. So for those of you that are new, so each month I try to go over like the Zega managed ETFs like YieldMax, Defiance, and SOFI's THTA to kind of go over like the rankings for the particular month. So there's more and more of these ETFs coming out. So it's a good way to kind of keep track of everything and to kind of just go over the rankings. So I go over like the rankings by like the price, like the average yield, the standard deviation, the liquidity, the correlation, and the potential drawdown. And just so you know, the snapshot over here, this is just like the tier ranking just based off like the average yield. But this doesn't take into account like the total returns because like not everybody is necessarily interested in that. So just to like kind of pre-warn people. So for example, ULTY, even though it's like S tier in terms of like in yield, based on total return, is not so hot. It actually might flip for some people. And then over down here, like you'll see SPYT kind of in the E section. 20% per year is not too shabby by any stretch of the imagination. So it really depends on what people are looking for. And AMDY and FIAT are too new to be included in this month of July. Same thing with QQQY. So I'm thinking like QQQY would probably be next to SPYT for the next month in terms of like overall yield. So you can kind of like take a screenshot of this if you want, and then I'll explain further when we get into the spreadsheet. New for this month for YieldMax and Defiance, I was trying to see if I can create like some interesting visuals. So maybe some type of like tree map or a heat map. This is how it stands for as of right now, in terms of just like the sizing of the products. And then I try to do the same thing for Defiance. So I don't know if there's any demand for this. If nobody likes it, then I will just like get rid of it for the August edition. So for the tier list, let's go into the spreadsheet. 1 second there. Here we go. So again, for those of you that are new, so on the left hand side you see like all the YieldMax products. I show like the difference between the NAV and the close as of a particular date. So I'm doing this as of like the close of Friday, July 19th, and then you kind of see like the premiums or discounts. So for example, for those of you that are interested, YBIT might be interesting because you see this is probably like the biggest one. So you can grab like a 12-cent per share discount. If you're into this, of course. No need to rush into anything because there might be more downside ahead, but it might be a good time to kind of pick up some cheap ETFs or some cheap shares if you want. So for example, and then over here you see like the Defiance option products. So you can see like nothing too earth-shattering here. You see like 2-cent discounts on JEPY and SPYT, so nothing to brag about. Then you see over here like assets under management. You can see like SPYT over time has been slowly like creeping up in terms of like the size. And then the assets under management from the YieldMax side, you'll notice like NVIDIA is the king right now. But for the past few days, TSLY actually flipped NVIDIA a few times to kind of get back the top spot. So like they were on top for like a few days, and then they kind of like started slowly drifting off. So TSLY is still a respectable number 2. They've been fighting real hard lately, so like they were down as much as like down to like the 140ish or so, and then they climbed back all the way up to like around the 270s, and now they're kind of like backed off a little bit. So just in time for like the earnings coming this week, so watch out for that. Okay, so for the overall oops, just make sure. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see. So for this month, let's see. So this is for TSLY all the way up to like the SPYT. So let me see if I can scroll down a little bit just so people can see like the average distributions, and then also like the standard deviation, and then also like what I call like the consistency ratio. So the standard deviation shows you kind of like each month how much it wiggles between like month to month approximately. So like for example like TSLY over here, so the average right now is around 73 cents per share, and then it moves around like around 19 cents or per month. And then you can see like the consistency ratio is just the division between the two. So the higher the consistency ratio, if you're into that, like the higher the better. So for some people that might be useful. So for example, if you look all the way to like NVIDIA, even though it has like a pretty high like overall average, and same thing with CONY, like the consistency ratio is a little bit low. So like on the bottom, I try to highlight in green like the top three, and then the bottom three are like in kind of like this orange color. So like for example like SPYT, Moderni, and NVIDIA, they're kind of like near the bottom in terms of like the consistency. Because even if you look over like the history of like of the distributions, you can see it's like kind of all over the place. It's like as low as like 42 cents, and then like it just like skyrockets to like $2.62, then it backs off, and then it's like kind of back to like around like the 240 250 range for like the past 2 months. Same thing with Square, like it's been low as like 43 cents, and as high as like $2.14, and then it's kind of all over the place. For some people that might not be that good, but then other people might like that. So it's good to kind of like see what's happening across the board. So let me just like scroll over carefully a little bit to want to make sure everybody can kind of like take a screenshot of like the ones that they like. So let me see this. So I'm gonna have to scroll over like kind of like 2 times. So like the cutoff over here is like up to like QQQY, and then you can kind of see like YBIT, CRSH, but also take into account that these are relatively new for like 2 months, so they have a high consistency ratio now, but that's that might change as we get more and more distributions. And you can also see like MSTY also has a really high average distribution, but I guess like when Bitcoin like the run is over, you might not see like these kind of like nice returns. So I guess like for some people it might be good to like kind of grab whatever you can now. So up to QQQY, so I think that might be enough for people to. So let me scroll over all the way here. So let me just do a little bit more. This way you can see all the way up to like THTA, sub QQQT, IWMY, and then like again SPYT, and I expect like QQQT to also kind of be similar. Like they'll have like the highest overall consistency ratio, because of they're planning to pay out 20% a year. It should be pretty, it's around like 33 cents per month. So I expect this to be kind of like the highest consistent distribution payout. Might not be the highest, but it'll be like the most consistent. So that might be helpful for some people. And then let's go over like the price rank. So basically I wanted to see like how close like the last price was to like this 52-week high. So for those people that are also interested in maybe any potential capital appreciation, like the higher the rank, the better off you are. So unfortunately for this month, it caps out at like 57, just because of the recent pullback in the past few days. You had all types of crazy stuff happening, including like the IT outage and things like that. So just gonna scroll down slowly so people can kind of see everything. So MSFO was doing quite well, and then as you can see, it's gonna kind of pull back a bit, but it's still above like 20, so that's pretty impressive, all things considering. So I'm just gonna scroll down slowly so people could kind of see everything and see like if their potential favorite ETF is coming up. So you can see like QQQY and AIYY. Unfortunately, they're kind of like near the bottom, along with these other guys over here. So let me move down to potential drawdowns. So again, I want to just state that this isn't like what's going to happen. This is what could happen. So basically, I want to compare like the price between like the kind of like the in reverse. You want to see like how like the difference between like the 52-week high and the 52-week low. So like for example, like TSLY could be like, you know, probably like the most dramatic one where you can face up to like a 63% drawdown, especially if you bought a like just happen to buy like the high. So that's obviously doesn't feel very good. But you know, unfortunately, these things happen, especially if you don't pay attention. So again, let's just go scroll down slowly so you can kind of see like the worst is like near the top. So these are potential drawdowns that you have to be aware of. So you know, AIYY is another notable one. MRNY. Well, crash is kind of interesting. It's also faced like a steep drawdown just because like the timing was not like the greatest. It kind of came out when like, you know, Tesla was on like on a tear. So I mean, it's actually kind of sad because like the whole point of CRSH was to kind of hedge off Tesla, but if you weren't careful, you can, you know, lose on potentially both sides. So just be careful out there, guys. And of course, like you see like some other noticeable ones, like ULTY could potentially face like a big steep drawdown as well. Even though it's, I would consider it in terms of like, numbers of underlyings, it's fairly well diversified. So don't get cocky. I guess even if you're diversified, you can still like face like drawdowns. Same thing with like the YMAG and YMAX. These are, I would say, like better prepared for potential drawdowns, but you're still not immune from them. So like so far they've done a pretty good job in keeping like the price at like a reasonable level too. Then you see like triple QT and SPYT also doing a pretty good job. And then of course like APLY, but this is new, so we don't know how long this will last. And then THTA, like, you know, it's done a pretty good job of like not, you know, doing like crazy price movements. So let's move on to like the volume. So this is like a measure of liquidity. So like, you know, obviously like the more liquid, it's easier for you to kind of like get in and get out. So it's not too surprising to see CONY, TSLY, and AMZY doing quite well in terms of like getting like just like a number of shares transacted. And then you can see like ULTY and MSTY not too bad either. Again, I'm just going to scroll down slowly so you can kind of see everything. And then like CRSH and SPYT, I'm surprised like the volume was relatively low. I thought like there would be more interest in those, but you know, I guess it's still relatively new. Same thing with triple QT. I thought there would be more interest in this particular product. And then like, well, ABNY, we know that they're relatively new. And then like, you know, unfortunately for Trez, it's been kind of low, but you know, maybe things will pick up. So, and then the last thing I want to show is like the correlation to triple QY, because I know triple QY is also like a fairly popular product as well, or it was at one point. So I kind of wanted to show you like say like if you wanted to diversify into like something else, like the ones that are inversely correlated or things that you might want to consider adding to kind of like diversify. And then CRSH at negative 0.56 is the highest, at least for this month. So which makes sense because like TSLY is also a big component of like the triple Q. So since it's going short TSLY, you would expect this to be inversely correlated. And interestingly enough, MSTY, for at least for this month, has been inversely correlated, and YBIT isn't as inversely correlated, so that's pretty interesting. And then SOMO is like, you know, lightly inversely correlated. And then if I scroll down a little bit more, like these ones are, you know, they're I would consider them pretty decent in terms of like diversifying away from QQQY. And so let me just like scroll down a little bit more. And as always, don't, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. So for example, I'm using information for like the Thinkorswim platform, which is now part of Charles Schwab. So sometimes you see something wacky that, QQQY is supposed to be perfectly correlated with QQQY because it's the same thing. So we expect this to be 100 or like 1, but unfortunately, I'm guessing it must be because it's after hours. So you might see like some funny numbers up here. Everything else like kind of makes sense. Like, so for example, JEPY and like SPYT, you expect those to also have like a high correlation to the QQQY and so on and so forth. So let's pop back into the PowerPoint. So hopefully people found this useful. And again, this is just like a panda opinion, because I don't know if everybody is going to be interested in total return. So that's why I ranked everything by just like the yield, just to keep it simple. And then I tried on the spreadsheet to kind of show you alternative ways that you can kind of rank, because like everybody's goal is a little bit different. So like if you're on the older side like me, you'll probably be geared more towards yield. But then if you're younger, you'll probably want some like price appreciation as well. So thank you for watching. I hope people like and subscribe. Hope people are making good money out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.